Hello and welcome to the Acting Coach Network podcast. I'm your host, Savannah Madden, acting coach, award-winning theatre school owner and business coach for performing arts professionals, tutors and small business owners who want to grow their businesses with confidence, resilience and to step into their CEO mindset without burning out. Today's conversation is one of those stories that reminds you why passion, resilience and purpose matter so much in this work. I want to take you back to 1997. My guest started a small Saturday performing arts school with her husband, Dan. They wanted to create a space where children could feel confident, creative and free. No auditions, no exams, just pure joy and self-belief through dance, drama and singing. That school became Rascals. And nearly 3 decades later, it's grown into a thriving network of 15 locations, soon to be joined by 3 more as new franchisees launch in January. Rascals is now a national community that champions inclusion, fun and growth in every child who walks through the door. But what makes Diane's story so remarkable isn't just the business success, it's the courage behind it. In 2023, just as Rascals had completed a huge rebrand and was preparing to launch its new franchise model, Diane was diagnosed with breast cancer. Overnight, her world changed. She was facing months of chemotherapy, surgery and radiotherapy, while also trying to keep her business, her team and her community moving forward. For the first time in 28 years, she couldn't teach, but instead of stopping, she found new ways to show up, continuing her office work, creating new training materials, leading her team online, and staying connected with the families she loves. Her story is a powerful reminder that even in our hardest seasons, we can still lead, still create, and still inspire. Today, we're talking about building a business that lasts, leading through challenges, and discovering just how strong we really are. Diane Neave, welcome to the Acting Coach Network podcast.
Thank you very much, Savannah. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for that very, very lovely introduction.
You're very welcome. It's so lovely to have you. I want to start where I always start, which is right at the beginning. So take us back to 1997. What inspired you and Dan to start Rascals and what did those first classes look like?
Oh, so back in those days, I was teaching at lots of other schools, performing arts schools, and I just I was not enjoying teaching and seeing what I was seeing. A lot of the schools that I was working for, they always had the favourite children, always getting the main parts and all the, children that may be less confident stuck at the back. And it just didn't sit right with me. My parents have always been business owners. They've always instilled that kind of work ethic into me and my sisters. And I always knew that I wanted to have my own school one day. So we just decided that we were gonna open our own school. And that's what we did.
I totally resonate with that. That's exactly how I built my school. I was like, I don't like it. I don't like how all these other people are doing it. I'm going to do it differently. Yeah, absolutely. Love that. So you've built Rascals around such a clear philosophy, right? So no auditions, no exams, just fun, confidence, creativity. Was that a deliberate decision because of what you've just said, or has it kind of evolved over time?
No, that was a deliberate decision right from the beginning. That's what we wanted. We wanted to be affordable. A lot of the schools at that time and still today charge a lot of money and make it out of reach for a lot of families. And we wanted for any kind of child to be able to come to our classes, no matter what their background or their experience or their ability level, to be able to feel good about themselves and to be able to come and dance and sing and and do some acting. And no matter whether you're the Mariah Carey or tone deaf, everyone should be able to enjoy it, and that's what has been our ethos right from the beginning.
You don't have to be able to sing in tune to enjoy singing, do you?
No,
Because you just
exactly.
have a lovely time.
Yeah,
That's brilliant. And what do you think it is about Rascals that's allowed it to keep growing for almost 3 decades, while staying true to that inclusive ethos that you were just talking about?
Yeah. I think we have a very much a family feel at Rascals. We are a family run business, and that, the kind of family environment that we create at all of our classes is something that, we stick to, and we encourage all of our franchisees to build their own community, and we're very, very much in connection with the parents, making them part of the school. It's not all about what you do in the classroom with the children. It's building a relationship with the parents and giving them the trust factor. Children are very precious. As you know, you've got your own child. You don't really realize that until you become a parent yourself. But giving parents that confidence in us and what we do, that we are going to look after their children, and we're going to make sure that they're happy and they're safe, and that that everyone that we have in our theatre school has their best interests and their welfare as a priority. And yeah, I think that has kind of stayed with us all the way through, and it's something that we strive to ensure happens at all of our branches.
I think any parent listening to that would be like, where do I sign? Where do I take my child to this lesson, this school? And of course, building a franchise model, you might have franchisees in all parts of the country, parts of the UK. So the fact that you're pushing that real community and family ethos within your network, your franchise network as well, is so important, so that that's getting rolled out no matter whereabouts in the country they are. It's amazing. And you've transitioned, haven't you, from a license model to a full franchise? So that's a very exciting move, I imagine. So what has made you feel like the time was right to sort of make that move, make that step?
Well, we were kind of coming to a sort of a bit of a crossroads in our Rascals journey. Obviously, I have taught at Rascals right from the beginning. Slowly, gradually, over the last kind of 10 years, I guess, I've started to step back a little bit, and I've allowed other people in to teach my classes, and obviously training people up to work in the way that I work, to teach, because I'm very protective over my classes and my children, and the way that I teach and the way that I deliver the classes. Ensuring that is continued is my number one priority. So we were coming up to our 25th birthday, Rascal's 25th birthday, and at that time, we wanted to rebrand, we wanted to freshen everything up, we wanted to take Rascals into a new kind of era. And for me and my husband, we're getting older, and we're trying to future-proof the business so that we can step back from being in the business and be franchisors. Rather than going out. We still go out, I still teach, which I love still, but at some point, we're going to stop doing that because we're not getting any younger and the body hurts. And so when we got to that point, I came across a business coach, Chrissy Monaghan, which I know you know very well. I came across her on Facebook and signed up to her Market Like a Pop Star program initially. But then this working relationship evolved with her. I realised that she could help us with developing our license model. What we were doing was a franchise. It was just called a license, and we kind of got stuck. We didn't really know how to move forwards with it, how to make it into what we wanted. The reason why we went down the license route in the beginning was I had a little bit of a kind of twitch about being called a franchise. I don't know, I just didn't kind of like the franchise label, and I wanted to try and offer something different to what all the big franchises were offering. So that's why we went down.
Sorry to interrupt you, Diane, but is that because franchises tend to have a bit of a label that they're so big they lose that community feel, that personal touch?
Yeah. Because I guess there's a little bit of a stigma. Oh, it's a franchise, and it's you do lose that personal touch because, you know, they buy the franchise and then they go off and they do their thing. So making sure that all of our franchisees are all delivering the Rascals brand in the way that we deliver our classes is really, really important to me. So then we started working on, you know, rebranding. We rebranded all our our logo, our website, everything. And at that same time, we were working behind the scenes to rewrite our whole license model into a franchise model to take it into like the next kind of chapter, I guess.
Yeah, as you say, to future-proof your business.
Yeah.
And I suppose there's an element of like leaving a bit of a legacy as well if you're creating a
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I guess I know, like, I have spent 28 years of my life investing everything into my business and into the business model and the, you know, the structure, the lessons, you know, the way we do things. And to just kind of end that, you know, what else would I do when I can't carry on teaching anymore? What else would I do? And I, you know, we've got so much knowledge and so much experience that we can pass on to others, that, you know, that's what we wanted to do in terms of taking the business into a new direction for myself and Dan.
definitely. And because I hear what you're saying about there is a bit of a stigma attached to franchises, which I do think is lessening because more people like yourself are coming forward and putting your brand into the franchise ring, if you like. And but what I think is if you reframe it, which I think you guys have done, is that you want to impact more people. You
Yeah.
want more children to experience your theatre school experience. You want more children to feel confident and to not feel pressured to do exams and to do competitions and all that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it's just such a brilliant way to have a bigger impact on more people further afield as well. So not just in the area that you guys are in. And I know as well that you've structured Rascals with no franchise fee. And that real sense of support obviously matches how values led you are. So what was behind that decision?
So again, it's always been something right from when we started the license model that there would be no fee. The reason for that was because franchises typically cost a lot of money. And again, I wanted to try and do something different to what the franchises were doing and to reach out to a different kind of person, not necessarily different kind of person, but you know, people, there's so many people out there that have got the skills and the energy and the personality who could be running their own classes, but don't have 20 grand in their pocket to buy a franchise. When I first started out, in 1997, I looked at franchises because I thought, oh yeah, it'd be great to be part of a franchise, be part of a well-known brand, and you know, to have that kind of support behind you. But I didn't have 20 grand, so I had to go it alone, learn the hard way, find, you know, come up against all the obstacles that you come up against, and you know, and make the mistakes, do all those things. So I wanted to try and appeal to that market, those people that would love to do something like this but don't have the finances behind them. And you know, it is a bit of a risk because we put in a lot. We don't earn any money until they start earning money, so we take a percentage from their income. And obviously, you know, it is a bit of a risk because if choosing the right people is really important, ensuring that our training is on point so that we give them all the tools that they need and everything for them to succeed. Because if they don't succeed, then we're putting in a lot of time and a lot of effort and training before they launch their classes. Yeah, so the support that comes with our franchise is second to none. We give a lot of support because, like I say, if they're not successful, neither are we.
Mm-hmm. And what's that process like when you're looking for, you know, you're recruiting new franchisees? What does that look like when you said, you know, they've got to have the right sort of personality and be really invested in what they're doing?
Yeah.
What kind of things are you looking for?
So energy is my number one thing because children feed off of energy. And I I'm a firm believer that you can deliver anything in class. You could deliver the most boring game, the most boring script, the most boring song. The way that you deliver it makes it the most exciting thing that they've ever come across. So people that have that energy, that natural energy about them and about their personality, who who are going to bring the energy every single class, that is what I look for first and foremost, because it's infectious, and you've got to be able to inspire and infect the children that you're teaching with that energy and that positivity. So that's what I look for first of all. Secondly, they need to be all-rounders. So they've got to have dance, drama, singing, professional training, because then that gives me the reassurance that I know that they're a certain level of candidate. And then it's initially a phone call. I can sense by listening to the interactions on the phone whether it's someone that sounds like they are worth pursuing. And then it's Zoom conversations. I feel like at my age now I'm quite good at judging people, and I follow my guts in most things that I do. So if I get like a gut feeling that this person's going to be good, then yeah, it kind of evolves from there, really.
You're usually right. Your gut
I'm
instinct
usually
knows
right
what...
with my gut.
Yeah, good, 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 good. And for any theatre school owners listening who might be thinking, like you were a few years ago, about expanding, what are the biggest lessons or surprises you found stepping into this franchisor role?
I think the biggest thing is how much time it takes. Not just the time that I have to put into recruitment, which is quite relentless, when you get new leads, new inquiries, the follow-ups, the nurturing, the conversations, it's very time consuming. But the length of time that it takes from a person who makes an initial inquiry to actually that person then becoming a franchisee is a lot longer than what I'd anticipated. I just thought, yeah, people all like sign up and then a few months it will be, we'll be launching. But yeah, it's a much slower process than what I anticipated.
What would you say the average?
Probably a year.
A year is the average time it takes from initial inquiry to
Yeah.
launch?
Initial inquiry to them signing. Some of them have been a year, some slightly longer, some slightly less. There's been a couple that have literally got in touch, boom, 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 and it's all kind of like happened. But generally, it's a lot longer process. I guess people that are inquiring, as they're still, what I've learned is that they're still busy having their life. That so. It's not a priority to them initially. They're just kind of inquiring about it. And then, it takes a lot longer to actually sort of gently push people across the line. So you've got to have a lot of resilience and determination, commitment, patience, perseverance.
There's some very good tips there on how to navigate that. Fantastic. And your franchisee network is obviously growing. You've got
Yes.
15 franchisees already, 3 more on the go, and it's November at the moment. How do you support those franchisees to uphold this amazing brand that we've already discussed in this episode and bring that energy, as you described, while still letting them make it their own, put their own personality, their own stamp on things? How do you support them do that?
Well, we have a very active franchise WhatsApp group. All of the franchisees are very active on their daily. We're very supportive of each other. We kind of celebrate our little wins and, help each other. They're very good at helping each other as well. But with my franchisees, my new franchisees, we have daily support, WhatsApp and phone calls if they need it. But we do have a weekly Zoom call as well. We have individual Zoom calls, but we also have as a team, we have our team meetings once a term as well. And yeah, it's my job to lead by example. So every time I show up, I bring the energy, the positivity, the finding solutions to problems, helping them navigate all the things that they might come across, because it's impossible. Our training before they even start is very intense and detailed, and the actual delivery of the classes is very structured. They learn the Rascals structure. The way that we do things at Rascals is unique to us, but there's pockets of the content which they get to bring their own ideas and their own style to. So for example, they choose their own music. If they want to create a dance, they're going to choose what suits them, and they're going to bring their own kind of style to it. We do have a massive platform of resources, choreography, drama games, tips, all these kind of things which are there to help. Because being a mum, being busy, sometimes you run out of time to do things, and it's just easy to go, oh, let me have a look on there, and I'm going to deliver that routine. But equally, we're creative people. I find it very confusing that people are told what they have to teach and given the choreography, and given that, for me, that's not why I became a teacher. That's not why I became a performer, because I've got my own unique style to me, the way my training kind of influenced that. I love certain kind of music that, I stick on in my living room and do my choreography, and that's how I work. So learning somebody else's choreography is not me. And that's how that's kind of what we say to our franchisees, that they have the freedom to be themselves and bring their own style and their own creative energy to their classes.
That's brilliant. And what I love about that as well is that we, as creatives, we definitely peak and trough in our inspiration, don't we?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you might go through a spell of just getting inspo from absolutely all directions, and you're flooded with ideas, and it just feels like it's so natural and it's all coming to you. And then other times you might just feel a bit lacking. So that's when you can definitely dig into the resources and find some stuff to then inspire you. Because then again, you might watch a routine on your platform and go, oh, I feel really inspired by that, so I'm going to create my own one rather than just using that one. But equally, using that one would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm not precious over my material that I give to them. I say to them, look, use it, edit it, change it, make it your own, use it to be inspired, exactly that, and take it, on your own kind of journey with it. Sometimes, like you say, you just get, I get choreographed out. I kind of like come to the
almost
end
like writer's block. For choreographers.
I'm done, and I need like my brain to just have like a complete break from choreography and creating new stuff. And I get inspired by watching, music videos, Instagram. Like I follow certain choreographers on Instagram that I think, right, I need some inspiration. I watch them and think, yeah, and then I'll get up and kind of do my own thing. So using it as a tool to inspire you and to help you get started on a new routine is really important.
Definitely. It's just so good. It's just taking me back to my choreography days and my dance teacher days. I used to choreograph a lot for amateur productions and, for different franchises. I just used to love it. And my partner always used to be like, oh, I found this song. What do you think? And he'd always find like this weird and wonderful song. I'm like, no one will have thought of that. And always a good one because he's really into his music. But I digress. So let's now move on to talking about your cancer diagnosis, which came at such a pivotal moment for the business because you'd worked for years to build it up to where you wanted it to be. And then you decided to do your rebrand, which you mentioned earlier, and create the franchise model. So can you talk us through what that moment felt like when it came at that moment as well, and how you to navigate both worlds of being unwell and trying to run a business all at the same time?
So it was July 2023 when I first found my lump, and from the beginning of that year we'd been really investing a lot of time into the rewriting the franchise model and getting it ready to launch in September. And it kind of initially stopped us in our tracks. We were like, being told that you've got cancer, and that it was caught early. I was very fortunate, but it was an aggressive, fast growing type. And, when they give you not so much the diagnosis, but the actual treatment plan, because in your head, you're kind of thinking, okay, well, as long as I don't have to have chemotherapy, I'll be fine. As long as I don't have to have this, and then when they hit you with, you're having 6 months of chemotherapy and then surgery and then radiotherapy, and it just completely knocks you sideways. The kind of thought that, am I going to get through this? Am I going to lose everything that I've worked for? Am I still going to be alive? Am I, all these kind of things go through your mind, and it's just bizarre looking back on it though now, because it feels like I only finished my treatment May this year, and it feels like years ago already. It's kind of like surreal that actually happened. Now I've got like hair again, and now I'm kind of like back to being me and feeling like me and looking like me, and it just feels like so surreal that I went through that. But then I get reminded every now and then of what I went through, and talking to other people that have been diagnosed and helping them through their kind of journey. Yeah, when I look back, it kind of was massive. It was huge. We decided that the launches that were happening that September, we were launching 2 new franchises, that we were still going to go ahead and we were going to do it. And we did, because I didn't start my treatment until, although I got diagnosed in the summer, I didn't start my treatment until early October. So that whole period from summer to October was just like, you're just kind of trying to get on, take each day as it comes, because you're just waiting. You're waiting for the next appointment to tell you the next thing, the next appointment to tell you the next thing. And that was really, really hard. Once you actually finally start your treatment and you know what's going on, it's kind of a little bit easier to navigate. But those early few months were really, really difficult. So yeah, it was kind of hard to think, okay, well, we can't continue this, because I'm not allowed to be in classes, I'm not allowed to do this, I'm not allowed to do that. But actually, there was lots of things they told me I couldn't do, and I just did.
Like what?
Yeah, well, we've got 2 horses, you won't be able to muck out, you won't be able to ride, you won't be able to touch the horses, you won't be able to do, all these things. I did everything. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to just carry on with my life. And if I feel rubbish, then I will allow myself to feel rubbish and stay in bed. And then, for 4 days, every cycle, I would be in bed. And then I would gradually, it would take probably like 3 or 4 days for me to regain my strength. And then for a good 10 days before my next treatment, I would be like, I'm good. Right, let's rock and roll. I would feel fine. So yeah, you just got used to kind of like living in the cycle and knowing what to. The hardest one was the first treatment, because you just don't know what to expect and how it's going to hit you. And it did feel like I'd been run over by a bus. But yeah, then you're like, okay, right, I know what's happening. I know what's coming now, so I know how how to deal with it. Yeah, I'm one of those people that I like being busy. I like getting up and doing stuff. I'm not one to wallow. I'm not one to kind of sit around and, my mum and dad taught me to be resilient, and taught me that, you've got to get up and get on with it. It is what it is.
Yes, Diane. And I just think sometimes that we get sent these things to test us and test our resilience and test whether we can make it through or not. And you're just a prime example of, yes, you absolutely can, with the right attitude, the right mindset, having your support network around you, which I know you had, people to lean on and support you. And I just think that you're utterly inspirational. But I feel that creatives as well have this special sauce that we just like get knocked down, you get back up again. But I just remember from the first time I ever met you, I just thought, energy. This woman has got so much energy. And you've clearly taken that and run with it and brought that in with your recovery as well. And I think everybody listening will just be so inspired by you. And I'd just like to mention as well, did you not win some sort of wonderful award for resilience? Could we mention that maybe?
Yes, I did in September, actually. It was the Business Success Awards, and it was the Against All Odds category. So, I entered with no expectations really, but obviously it was very much about my cancer journey and my 2 years of kind of juggling, going through treatment and my juggling the business and continuing to push forward with the business and continuing to, to work behind the scenes and recruit new franchisees. And yeah, I felt extremely honored it was very emotional actually, because it was only September this year. I didn't expect to win, and actually there was a gentleman sat next to me on my table who he was in the same category as me, and he was telling me his story, and I was sat there thinking, oh wow, what an inspiration you are, and in my mind I was thinking he's definitely going to win, he's definitely going to win. So when they called out my name, I was like completely got a rush of emotion come over me, because it suddenly kind of hit me actually how much it meant to me to be recognized in that way, and not just for me but for my family, my business, my franchisees, all the children that I teach that supported us and stuck with us through that whole period that was really difficult. Yeah, it was kind of like a bit of a pivotal moment that this was for everybody, not just for me. It was very special.
Diane, like, you just must be so proud, and everybody around you, all the parents, all the families, the children, as you say, your franchisees, your husband, your family, your daughter, everybody must just be so proud of you, because it's such an inspirational story, and we all take so much from seeing other people survive in every facet of the word, like literally and metaphorically, through something so big like that. And I know that so many people will draw so much inspiration from that. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. I wanted to touch on as well how you mentioned right at the beginning of the episode that you want your brand to be represented really well across every franchise, and you find it a little bit difficult letting go because you're very protective of over all of your sessions, which is, I think, such a common thing. But what did your diagnosis teach you about letting go and having to trust other people and your leadership skills, because you couldn't teach in person? I just imagine it was just felt so unimaginable for you. But how did you manage to navigate the trust, leadership and letting go?
It's really hard actually. That when they told me that I couldn't be in class with my children, I mean, that was up there with one of the hardest things, because my children that I teach, I'm very like, they are my children.
You've referred to them as your children quite a few times in the episode, which I've noticed. It's lovely.
Getting someone else in to teach my children, it's very difficult for a teacher to take over, any teacher to take over someone else's classes, because children like what they like, and it doesn't matter how good you are, how amazing you are. They like their teacher. They come because they like that teacher, and they like the way that they do things. And so one of the biggest things for us was trying to find a teacher who would kind of teach in a similar way to me, who'd have like a similar personality to me, so that we didn't have a big mass exodus, because you know what children can be like. Oh, I don't want to go anymore because it's not Diane. But parents were really actually very supportive, and they realized that this was a kind of unprecedented sort of time in our lives, and they stuck with us. And the girl that was teaching my classes, she was great, she was brilliant, and most of the children carried on coming, and it kind of taught me that I can give someone else the reins and it will be okay. There's always going to be children that drop out. We know that. It doesn't matter. You replace a teacher, some children are going to go, oh, I don't like that teacher, I'm not coming anymore, or it's not the same, and that's inevitable. But it's kind of taught me that I can start to kind of let go. I'm still there though, Savannah. I'm still teaching because I still love it. That's the thing. I think it also gives me a unique kind of set of skills and knowledge and experience to pass on to my franchisees, because I'm actually
Definitely.
doing it. A lot of franchisors are not in class doing it. So, and I've been in class doing it for 28 years. So I have, tried and tested every single strategy, every single lesson plan, every single piece of everything has been tried and tested by me. So yeah, I think that's quite unique. And yeah, I think when you love something, it is difficult to give it up, even though I know that I've got to at some point.
I don't think you're ready, are you?
I kind of am in my head because my body hurt. That's the only reason. I've got a lot of aches and pains that, I need to kind of look after. And I am an all or nothing kind of person. If I can't give it 100%, then I don't want to give it at all. So I'm coming to that point where, I fully give 100% in my classes and it hurts. And I get home and I'm like, the body, the ankles, the toe joints, the knee joints, the hip joints, all the joints, in fact, I've got to kind of step away from teaching at some point soon, so that I can try and make my body last longer.
So I like to think of everything you've been through as like a season of your life. So what do you think that particular season has taught you about yourself as a person and as a business owner?
I am strong. I've always been
100%.
kind of quite a strong person, but it's taught me that I am so much stronger than I ever imagined. Yeah, if you put your mind to something, you want something, you've got to make it happen. And you can make it happen. You've just got to have the strength. You've got to dig deep within you to find that strength and to find that determination. And, I could have just gone, no, I'm going to sit this one out. I don't need to push myself. I have, like, we call it the cancer card sometimes, where, like my family, they'd be, I don't know, because they're living it with me. Obviously was hard for them as well, but sometimes, just silly little things like they'd expect me to make dinner and I'd be like, hang on a moment, I'm the one with cancer, pulling out the cancer card here. But
yeah, for the more trivial things, not for
yeah,
the
just the
really
little things.
important things.
Having laughter in your life is important. Trying to, it's a serious thing being diagnosed with cancer, and everybody's journey is completely different. But for me, I kind of tried to make light of the situation, tried to, there was dark moments, don't get me wrong, there was very dark moments. I can pick myself up. I can pick myself up and move forwards. And that's what you need to do if you want to, keep growing and keep evolving. Yeah, I'm very good at picking myself up.
Brilliant. So now that you're cancer free and Rascal, we're just doing a little happy dance here.
Yeah.
Now that you're cancer free and Rascals is thriving, how has your perspective on business, success, or life changed in any way, if it has?
I think, people say that cancer changes your outlook on life, and it does. I think for me, I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing. And I try, even though I'm busy and I've got so much on and I'm juggling like a million things, and I love what I do. And I love being busy. I've got 2 horses. If I'm up at the yard every morning at the crack of dawn and doing the horses, and I love what I do. I think every day, if you get up and you love what you do, I try not to get affected by negativity anymore. I do still have negativity in my life and, have a moan about this, that and the other. But then I just think to myself, come on, let it go, move on. Life is short. So I think it's given me a renewed kind of energy and to enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy it.
I was actually just about to ask you, what advice would you give to someone who is in a tough season right now? But I feel like you've kind of answered it already. But is there anything that you would add to that?
I've been through quite a few tough times in my life. Nothing as tough as having cancer. But know that you're going to get through it. You will get through it. You will. And whilst it's difficult at the time, you just got to try and just keep moving forwards. You know, one day, the next day is one day closer to the end of your difficult time. Just try and keep that positivity in your life, whether that's surrounding yourself with positive people or doing positive things. The horses were, you know, one of the things that kept me going through my cancer treatment. There, if I didn't have the horses, would I have got up and got out every day? I don't know whether I would have. You know, they were a reason to get up and get out because they needed feeding or they needed mucking out, or, you know, find something in your life that for you that you're passionate about and that you love, that's not work, and make sure that you do, you know, you do that for yourself, do things for you as well.
Tell us, what's next for Rascals? What's exciting you most about your next chapter as you move forwards?
We've got 3 new franchises opening in January. We've got a handful on the pipeline for Easter. I'm still looking, I'm still recruiting. I'm excited about growing our team and continuing the recruitment drive next year. And just, I'm looking forward to the moment when I am just a franchisor, because I love helping our franchisees, generating new ideas, generating new marketing things, generating, you know, new things for them to try for their classes. So I'm really looking forward to that time where I'm just focused on the business. I feel like I'm at a time where I'm ready for that, although it's not going to happen just yet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that and not slogging my guts out at my classes and, you know.
I ask this same question to every single guest that comes on, Diane, and that is, if you could give just one piece of advice to a fellow creative or fellow business owner who's feeling stuck or unsure right now, what would that be?
I guess the biggest thing that changed my business was bringing someone into the business, an outsider, like a business coach, a mentor, joining a community of children's activity providers. That was kind of like a pivotal kind of moment for my business, because it brought new people into my world that I would never have kind of come across before, yourself included.
Indeed.
I've invested a lot of time and money into growing my own skill set, learning about business, about, you know, how to grow my business. So yeah, trying to find someone outside of your business to look at your business and to help you navigate the way forward for your business. That's been a massive kind of change that we needed for me, because when you run a family business, especially when you run a business with your husband, sometimes, we've been doing it a long time, so it's great, but sometimes when decision making is not our best traits, because sometimes Dan will think this and I will think this, and trying to, you know, bring this and this together sometimes is difficult, which then slows down the whole process of moving forwards. So having this external person in the business saying, well, actually, no, Dan, I think you're right on that, and Di, you're right on this, and, you know, how about trying this, has been a game changer for us in moving the business forward.
A pair of eyes and ears is absolutely paramount, isn't it? And we can't do all of this on our own. We're building these empires, right? We can't do it on our own. So that is amazing advice, Di. And the other thing that you said about being exposed to other people and having other people come into your world, it's just brilliant when you come across other like-minded people, isn't it? And you build connections and collaborations and everything is just excellent, isn't it? So you have shared some brilliant bits of information, brilliant tools, a wonderful insight into your personal journey, which I'm just so, so grateful for. And I know everyone listening will feel so inspired by you. So where can we find out more about you? Where can we join to become a Rascals franchisee and be mentored by you and connect with you on social media, etc.?
Well, you can go to our website, rascals-uk.com/franchise. So on the website, there's lots of information about the franchise, and there's a little form that you fill out, that's where you can get one of our prospectuses. You can also message me on our Facebook page, Rascals Theatre School, and on our socials on Instagram as well, which is, again, Rascals_Theatre_School. So, yeah, you can message me on any of those platforms, or you can go direct to our website.
And I'll link all of that up in the show notes as well. Thank you so much, Diane. It has been absolutely amazing talking to you.
Thank you for having me, Savannah. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Acting Coach Network podcast. If you loved what you heard, make sure you're following. And if you've got a moment, I'd love you to leave a quick review or share the episode with someone else in the industry who might just need it. You can find me on Instagram at the Acting Coach Network. And if you're looking for support to grow your coaching business or creative career with confidence, resilience, and without burning out, I'm offering 3-month one-to-one coaching programs where we can get to the bottom of what you most need help with in your business. You can also find my latest free resource in the show notes. I'll be back soon with more real conversations, expert insights, and tools to help you build a business you love. Until next time, keep going, stay kind to yourself, and I'll see you soon.